Hello and welcome to Changing Our Reality. Today I want to tell you about my first challenge in life. It was at 7 years old and happened in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Memorial Day. I was running around the yard with two of the three of my best friends. Two of us jumped up on this clay log cabin house. We were sitting there. I remember looking at the hair of this one boy, and all of a sudden his head dodged and my eye caught a 12-foot flying bamboo pole. The third boy, my best friend at the time, he threw it right in my eye. The stick broke off. The Memorial Day party ended, and I was rushed up to the hospital. And in 1971, you can imagine there's no really health care for someone that had a stick in their eye. The example would be after after I got home from the hospital, my surgery, I wanted to go ride my bike outside. And my mom was scared. I could understand this, but she had to call the eye doctor to see if it was okay. And the doctor said, could he ride a bicycle before he lost his eye? And she said, yeah. And she said, yeah, he could ride it now. And the thought was, you know, just do the best you can. Don't get any kind of help of physical therapy. Maybe some I only had monocular vision, not binocular vision, 3D like everyone else has. I had to learn with this monocular vision where this one eye, since I didn't lose it, it was still growing at the time. So it would grow and it flowed a little bit. I'd have to get a surgery. And I had a lot of trouble growing up. Nowadays, before I left the hospital, they would have had a therapist, someone helping my parents and me get used to what was coming. I could have been in a different school, not a different school, but they would have helped me out differently because I had trouble focusing. One eye was seeing really fuzzy and starting to float, and one eye was seeing in 20/20 vision. I didn't need glasses at the time. They put glasses on me. It was just for safety glasses. But then later on, I need glasses. But the problem was, over the years, I didn't look for any help. I didn't see what was going on, anything new that was going on. And I'm learning there are so many different projects going on with this kind of vision. One I'm having right now, that's why I'm having my patch on. Let me take it off if I can grab a spot. Now, if I'm holding my fingers up, I can see there's two fingers there. I can see movement. I can see the window, the light coming in through the window. And that's my usual vision. And I've learned, I think everyone's looking at my eye when I talk to them, but now over the years, I realize nobody even notices it. But nobody ever tried to think of any kind of help that was going on. And every time I went to the optometrist or ophthalmologist, it would just be do what you can. And now there's something new going on. And I'm going to see um I see two neurologists right now. I'm going to see a third neurologist, neuro-ophthalmologist. And there are some kind of things that maybe help me get this 3D vision, at least get to know what it's like to see in 3D division. Just to get to know what it's like to see in 3 dimensions. Now, also, my problem has been what's called, I diagnosed this myself, but this is called, what's it called? Now, I kind of diagnosed myself because all this dizziness, and no one has been able to figure out why I'm getting dizzy, is called binocular rivalries. This eye is seeing 20/20, and this eye is trying to catch up. It's just a lot of confusion going on in my brain. Does that make any sense? So actually, it make better sense when I put the patch on, and I've just learned this over 50 years later. When I put a patch on my eye, there's much more contrast in the world. Everything's a little brighter in color. It's weird. And also, I don't get these headaches. I don't this I'm seeing a trace of light going here, and it's almost like the light's not ending. So that can cause some dizziness. Not all the time. My brain gets used to it. It has been going on since 1971, since 7 years old, but it's something new. Now, think about the brain and what's going on with this binocular rivalry and this eye seeing really good and this eye, my brain getting confused. When I had my aortic dissection, the aortic dissection, the inside layer where the blood flows, they've learned is covered with a epithelium cells, and it can actually sense the blood flowing. That's pretty cool. It senses the blood flow and it sends out chemicals to the middle layer. The middle layer is like a muscle. So the chemicals it sends out is nitric oxide, which would loosen the muscle a little bit and control blood flow, or it's a peptide called endothelin one, called endothelin 1. It's a peptide called endothelin 1. Now, this peptide will tighten, and again, it's helping to control the blood pressure because that center layer is sensing the blood as it flows through. When we have an aortic dissection, it splits through and it's going down that false lumen. It's going down that middle layer, which is like a muscle. So, this is my thought, like my rivalry that's going on in my brain. There's all of a sudden the blood flowing doesn't know whether it's going too fast, whether it should try to tighten, whether it should try to loosen, or why the hell's this blood flowing in right where I'm sending the signal to. I don't know what your brain's going through after this aortic dissection. All I know is it has to be confusing and tiring for us. Those are my two thoughts on the aortic dissection, the blindness in one eye, and the big thing I want to talk about. I've been putting it off the whole conversation here. Forgiveness. I cannot forgive the person. He was 7 years old that poked out my eye. Why? He was my best friend. Why did he pick up that stick and need to throw it at me? I mean, I can reason, he didn't know what he was doing. He's 7 years old. I mean, that's bull. But here's the thing with forgiveness. When I can't forgive someone, I know I'm only hurting myself. When I'm letting those anger chemicals into my body, that adrenaline and the blood flowing to my muscles and my blood pressure rising and my immune system getting weaker, all that crap, I'm hurting myself because I can't forgive someone. But again, as I used the word crap before, I think that's a bunch of crap because just can't forgive him. I've had so much trouble with this. Here, I'm still wearing a freaking eye patch at 61 years old. This happened at 7. How do you forgive someone? I know I'm only hurting myself, and that's all I really had to say. And I'm so good at forgiving, but this is one thing I just can't forgive. Is it wrong? I guess when I get upset about it and I think about it, I let my blood pressure get higher and my immune system get weak. Those fight-flight chemicals that go into your body. When that happens, yes, I'm hurting myself. But when I just don't think about it, when I don't think about him, and I'm nice enough to I'm not even gonna say his name. I think I saw him on Facebook once, and I think I got blocked. I didn't wanna say anything bad, I just was wondering what the heck he was doing. I think he's been in California now, but that's over. That was in 1971. My aortic dissection was in 2012. My Crohn's disease came 7 years after, 8 years after my blind eye. Some say when you have a traumatic experience, it might trigger a genetic disease or even a cancer. So that was my traumatic experience that triggered Crohn's disease. That took control of my life with all the inflamed intestines, having to run to the bathroom and then surgery after surgery. And that's when I finally found the Chopra Center, became a patient, trained with Deepak and David, and then I became a teacher of the Perfect Health program and the seven spiritual laws of yoga. And I learned how to relax. And I learned why this forgiveness is not good for me, why not being able to forgive is not good for me. I learned meditation. I learned stopping and resting and how important just one deep breath can be. And if that one breath feels good, you might as well take two. That's all I really wanted to mention today because it was started out with the I can't forgive anyone. And then I got into this rivalry and what your brain's going through. But it was basically about forgiveness. Is it okay not to be able to forgive?